Welcome to the Real Healing Institute. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a hypnotherapist and divine healer. And today I'm going to give you some practical guidance of how to relieve your conscious from detrimental, harmful types of thought. So anytime that we have something that happens in our life that then changes the way that we believe afterwards, we could consider this some type of trauma, right? You used to think you were good enough, then somebody made this comment when you were 4 years old, all of a sudden you didn't think that anymore, and you're now 37 and you've kept it your whole life. This is what I would consider trauma. It could have been a comment, it could have been, somebody made you feel a certain way, it could have been something that was done to you. But since that point, then things change for you. And because typically these things happen really early on, this is what I always see with clients, then we carry these things with us and we believe that they are actually who we are. They're just a part of us. People will even claim things like my anxiety, my depression, my whatever, like they claim it like it's their thing, and it's not really their thing. It's just the thing that they remember, that they've known. And because they have it, they keep reinforcing it even more. They're feeding it by, claiming it as their own, by focusing on it, by thinking of it. But what really needs to happen is there just needs to be a recognition and awareness of what the root issue actually is, and then it needs to be eradicated and healed. I'm currently working on an online course to teach you exactly how to do this, but I'm going to give you some really hot tips here today. So what happens is our body is only energy, right? We are just literally a bunch of tiny little particles made of vibration and light, and these particles assemble in our body. Now, what happens is if we have some type of lowly kind of thinking that is always associated with a belief that comes from our subconscious mind, when we have something like this, it will manifest and be stored in certain places inside of our body. And then let's say that you get upset about something. Well, where do you feel it? Well, maybe you feel it in your stomach, maybe your chest, maybe you feel this feeling, this flush feeling in your face or your neck or your arms, where it happens to be. This is what I mean by we actually store it. Energetically, it's stored, and so then that energy, because that's all that we are, is light and vibration. We're energy. When it's stored in certain places, it actually will affect those organs of our body. We don't want this. We want to be super healthy. Dis-ease is seriously just there's a place where there's no ease in our body, meaning we're thinking something and it doesn't feel like ease. It feels awful. Maybe it feels angry. Maybe it feels resentful, whatever it happens to be. But as long as we're holding this thing inside of ourselves, inside of our mind, we will also be storing it, holding it energetically in our body. And so what we're going to do here today is we're going to just kind of identify some of these beliefs that are detrimental, and this is how they might play out in your life. So let's say that you're in a situation and you go and you converse with a whole bunch of people and you leave, and then you are second guessing yourself. Did I say the right thing? Did I say too much? Did I not say enough? Did I blah, 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 blah. Many people have this issue. I know, because I got a lot of the people that come into my office. And they're telling me these things. So if something like this is going on, think about that feeling that is present there. So when you leave, all of a sudden there is then a feeling of, I don't feel safe. Maybe you did at the time, maybe when you were saying it, but all of a sudden you leave and you're like, oh, is it okay? And you feel this feeling, and there's this emotion and this physical sensation and this feeling that comes up, and it came up as soon as you had that thought of, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Well, what sparked the thought of maybe I shouldn't have said that? What came up is this will be a trigger from the past. So perhaps sometime in the past when you said something and somebody didn't like it, they attacked you for it. Or maybe, you said something and somebody embarrassed you. Or maybe you said something and somebody bullied you. There's a million different reasons. There's a million different people, billions, why this could be. But if you were to take that feeling, because you don't need to have it, and it causes you stress, right? When you don't think it, you're cool, and then when you do think it, you don't feel cool anymore, right? Because you are now submitting to the hell thought behind it, rather than the heaven of course this is wonderful. Of course I said what I was supposed to say. That's why it came out of my mouth. I was supposed to do the thing, even if it was maybe a not desirable outcome that came. Well, maybe that's exactly what was needed in that situation. Sometimes things are needed that don't necessarily look beautiful and like the right thing, but they really were the right thing. I can give you so many personal examples here of different times in my life when I was told to do something by the divine that I was like, dude, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. That sounds terrible. I don't want to do that. It's like, no, you have to do it. It's like, I don't want to do the thing. And it's like, you got to do the thing. And I'm like, okay. And I'll have this, mini argument, because obviously I'm going to let the divine win every single time. But then I would give in and I would do these things that the divine asked me to do that I would think, maybe that's not so great. And it would turn out so wonderful on the other side of it. It was like, oh, okay, right? Because there is no good or bad or right or wrong. It's our thinking that makes it that way. Like, I could go back to a previous relationship where I was cheated on multiple times, and I could take that and I could turn it into some horrible, past trauma. This horrible, terrible thing happened to me, but now I take that as like one of the biggest blessings in my life, because now that person isn't in my life anymore, and they were spiritually suppressing me, and now they can't do that anymore. So sure, it took a really rough incident to happen, several to happen, to get myself out of there, but eventually it happened. Saying that I could go on. Oh, I wanted this, particular relationship to go this way, and it didn't go that particular way. Well, it didn't. And does it take a long time to figure out why? Sometimes it does. But these things are always lessons learned, gifts for us. So even that negative feeling that you have is actually a positive thing. It's actually a wonderful thing, because it's teaching you something, and you're going to gain some wisdom, some knowledge, some information from it. And if you deal with it properly, you're going to then be able to take your power back, and you're going to be more powerful than you were before that thing happened. Right? Because the things that are really difficult to heal, that took a lot of strength and a lot of power to heal that. And so you've increased your power just by healing it. Not only that, but that you are really truly calling your power back to yourself when you do something that is difficult. And so it's not just the strength and the power that it took to get through it, but you actually amplify it and get even more through the process. So let's say that example that I gave earlier, you leave a situation and you start second guessing yourself. Okay, well, if you were to really tune into that feeling, really tune into it, where are you physically storing that feeling in your body? If you were to just think about it, when it comes up, where do you feel the tension, the tightness, the fluttering, whatever it is? And you might have to take yourself into a theta state, right? Now, you might need to take yourself into a subconscious state to identify that. Maybe it's only coming from your mind, and then some people are like, it's only in my mind. Well, it is. Some people, that's where it comes from. Not all of these things we store in other places than our head. Your head is part of your body too, so maybe it's just in the mind. But when you identify this, you can then begin to ask it questions, and you can begin to talk to this emotion, this energy that is stored there, and it will tell you. And you might feel like, I'm just making this up. You're not. You're the only one living in your head, and if something's coming in, it's because there's something to it. There's a reason why it's coming up. And so you can learn, really easily about yourself by asking the right questions. It's kind of like dealing with ChatGPT. Chat can be absolutely amazing and can solve so many problems for you, but it cannot do that if you don't ask the right questions. Otherwise, it's just going to spit out whatever it's going to spit out. It's not going to make any sense, or it's not going to give you any information at all. But when you ask the right questions to your body, you will get the right answers. So when you ask yourself, how long has this been present? Okay, if it says 17 years, do the math. Where's that? Where were you at? Figure it out. Where did this very first begin? And then you can ask, was something said to me? Was something done to me? Did I do something to somebody? Did I say something to somebody? What was the reaction? What happened? And figure out and find the scenario where it is, where it began. Go back to the root of the issue. And then once you get there, really examine it, and this is where you're going to be real nice to yourself. You're going to talk to yourself like you're your best friend, because if you're not, you really should be, and you need to be. And it's important that you are, because the only person who's got your back 100% is you, and sometimes you don't even got your back. So then who's got your back? It feels like nobody. But if you got your back 100%, that's all that matters. So you're going to talk to yourself like you got your back 100% and like you were truly your best friend. And so as you speak to yourself in this way, you're going to ask yourself, look at it from the third person. Look at it from the outside looking in. What happened? Was that really true? Should you have really, did you need to feel that way? Is there a different perspective that you could look at that would be more helpful or kinder? Is there a different perspective that you could look at, looking through this, that would give you relief? That you could find some relief from. And as you begin to examine this, you're going to notice that the physical sensations that you hold inside your body, they begin to change and they begin to ease off. But I'm going to tell you this, they're not going to go away until the lesson's been learned, because they're your teachers. They're there And I know it doesn't necessarily seem this way, but they're there because they love you. They're there because they love you. If you're angry, why? Because something has happened. You knew at some point in your life you were meant to be loved in a certain situation and you weren't, and so you're angry about it. Maybe it happened when you were 2 years old and you kept that anger your entire life. Maybe you didn't feel safe, and so you have this feeling, oh, I'm not safe, and subconsciously you're angry about it because you know that you're supposed to be safe, and you know that this life is about love, and that's not what you've experienced. So you're not only angry at the people who inflicted this on you, but you're angry at yourself for not recognizing that earlier, for feeding it, for putting yourself in a situation or staying longer in a situation when you knew that you should have left. There's, I'm talking to how many people out here, so everybody's got a different story. But there will always be some type of emotion, and usually some type of hidden emotions that are also there. Sometimes we'll have a feeling of like, oh, this anger, but really what's underlying it is massive sadness. Massive sadness, and the only person that we're angry at, even though it seems like we're angry at somebody else, is ourselves for allowing it, for putting ourselves in the situation. But there's all these hidden, secret emotions that you don't even know you got going on. Because how many times have you even talked yourself out of something? Let's say you feel a certain way and you're like, oh no, I'm not allowing myself. No, I'm not going to let myself think that. No, I'm not going to allow myself. Well, you are having an internal battle. You're fighting, you're double. Because you do feel a certain way and you're telling yourself that you don't. And so you've created an internal conflict within yourself that is causing you a lot of harm. And you're unable to resolve the actual issue that is there. So here's an example of this would be like, oh, I'm not going to eat those cookies. I don't want to eat those cookies, blah, blah, blah. But you do, man. You want to eat all the cookies. And if you could find out the reason why, if you could find out the emotion that's attached to it of why I feel the need to eat all these cookies, then the issue is resolved. But just telling yourself, no, I don't want to, no, I'm not going to, that's not doing anything because you still feel that way, don't you? You still want to eat all the cookies. So the issue's not resolved. You may have talked yourself out of it, but the feeling, the emotion is still there, and this is what needs to be eradicated. This is what needs to be gone. Then you've freed yourself. You've actually freed yourself and become free from the issue because you've healed it. And then that's where your power comes in. Then pretty soon it's like, actually, I don't even want to eat all those cookies. I have no desire to do that. And how much more powerful does that feel? And is that then, well, I want to eat all the cookies, but I'm not going to eat all the cookies. Well, yeah, that takes a bit of strength and that takes a bit of power to get through that. But when you get to the point of, I don't even want them, that ain't even me, it's more powerful. There's something in there because you've truly healed the root cause of the reason why you wanted to eat all the cookies in the first place. And I know that's just one example out of millions that I could give, but you understand what I'm saying. So subconsciously, we hold all of these things within ourselves. And because we are vibration and because we're frequency and we're light, those beliefs that we hold within us hold a very specific frequency. It's like a guitar that plays a chord, right? It's playing a certain chord. Each emotion, each frequency, each thought that we have holds a very specific vibration, frequency, chord that it's playing. And that chord ripples out from us and it goes out and it attracts and brings back the things into our life that resonate with that same frequency. And so when you heal these beliefs that are harmful to you, let's say that you got a belief in there that's like, oh, I'm not good enough. What a detrimental belief that is, because it will be proven to you over and over and over again and again and again. It's not the truth, but it's your belief, and your beliefs will be proven to you. And so if you were to just shift that belief and change that belief to the truth, which is I actually am more than good enough, always have been, always will be, well, then your life is going to reflect that, and things are going to vibrate out, and things are going to vibrate back to you that reflect that and give you proof of that belief rather than the old one. Because when the old one is gone, it's done. You're not going to have it come back and be like, oh, you sure? No, it's not going to happen. As soon as you've shifted that belief truly and you don't have any doubt and you really believe in it, then that's the way that it is going forward, is that then new things come into you. So one thing to really note, and this has been a huge lesson for me, this is why I've been gone the past couple of weeks. Well, first of all, I was up in Canada, and then my daughter came to visit, and then I went down to Mexico and was doing some work down there. And when I was down there, there was an energy shift that happened. And it was real low. I had put myself in a situation accidentally. I didn't know this was coming in. I didn't tune in enough. I didn't check on the things, which I should have, and that's normally, that's not how I typically operate. And so I was shown, okay, well, you need to be operating how you were before, because when I wasn't, it was very detrimental. But it was really helpful, because the energies that I was exposed to really, really brought me down. And so I gained some awareness around this. And I hadn't been exposed to this in several years, of energies that could lower my own frequency. But being exposed for a long period of time, it really took a toll on myself, which is why today's the first day I'm finally getting back at it, because I just got back from a conference this weekend in Phoenix. Anyways, now I have the time. And I want to give it to you, because I love doing what I'm doing here. And so one thing to note, energetically, because I can't just say this and give you this advice and not do it myself, which I'm really glad that I was provided the opportunity to participate in this cosmic experience, and to see that when I don't follow the energy, it's damaging. And so being exposed to these lower energies and being in the frequency field and being in that was an opportunity for me to gain mastery, right? If you can be present in a room where somebody's screaming their face off, and you can sit in your mastery and not let that affect you, then what a wonderful thing that is. So me not being able to do that and having it take me down showed me, wow, there's an opportunity for mastery. It also showed me, hey man, this hasn't been an issue for how long? Do you think maybe you're not in the right place? That's what it showed me. And so what a gift that is in itself, clearly defined for me. No second guessing, no questioning. And I asked for this. I wanted things to be very clear, and so that's what I received. But if you are in an environment, let's say that you have some friends, and you meet up with them every once in a while. Let's say you got 5 friends, 5 people that you check in with regularly. This is totally just made up. And you could use this with coworkers, you could use this with family, you could use this with anything. But you have 5 people. Let's say that 5 people come to mind. You go out for coffee with them. How do you feel after that interaction? Do you feel uplifted, or do you feel downgraded? And if you were to go through that list of those same people, okay, then tune in and be that other person. How did they feel after an interaction with you? Do they feel uplifted, or do they feel downgraded? Because this can help you to see too the balance, because sometimes we give in to people who are downgrading us because we subconsciously know that we are uplifting them, and so we give and 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 we give, and what are we getting in return? This is something to be noted. And it's good to give. Sometimes we have contracts with people, we need to fulfill them. We've agreed subconsciously before we ever even got here, I'm going to help this person. But you need to ask, when does this contract end? And what do I need to do to fulfill it? Because if you are spending your time with people who are downgrading your existence, you are limiting the experiences that you could be having here on Earth. And I know it sucks, but you actually have to eliminate those energies completely altogether, so that you can bring in the ones that are in actual alignment. When I just did this retreat when we were in Mount Shasta, it was amazing, totally amazing. We had 15 people come. Every single person there was family, soul family. And I didn't know that this existed on this level until we just had this retreat, and was like, dude, I have never felt this way before. I've never felt like I was in such supportive energies. I've never felt that I was in a group with people where everybody was just in such beautiful alignment, and what a wonderful thing that was. And so what happened for me over that experience was that we would stay up pretty late at night, right? Like I'm staying up till 2 in the morning working with some of the people that were staying in my house. And you would think that my energy was depleted, but no way, man. I was waking up the next day feeling like $1,000,000, and honestly feeling like I never needed to sleep again. This is how much energy I was getting, because I was in such supportive energies. It was amazing. It was amazing. This is how you know you're in the right place. And when you're passionate about something and you get fueled, that fire, that energy like that, man, it's the thing. Now I leave and I go to a different environment, completely different people, where we were not together for spiritual purposes, but we were, together for healing purposes of other people. And the alignment wasn't there at all. And so the divine is showing me so clearly, like, here's the thing, here's not the thing, here's the thing, pay attention to these things. And when we had been holding, our spiritual recess, spiritual circle, whatever you want to call it, there will be a link for that below. You can join us. We do this several times a week, me and my friend Alara. It is very healing and very uplifting to attend this thing. Anyways, I'll have the link below. But when we would do these, even just me and my friend, we're doing circles by ourselves, we were getting all of this information about pay attention to the energy, pay attention to the energy. How do you feel in certain environments? How do you feel around certain people? And it's like, don't just pay attention to it, take action and do something about it. And so that is my message for you guys today, is do something about it. If what I'm speaking about is resonating with you, then you know that that's a thing that, needs to be addressed in your life too. We're all going through this together, man. Like, there's none of us that aren't on this ride called life, and things just happen to come up. So if there's parts inside of you that need to be healed, first of all, just begin by speaking to them, by talking to them, and whatever chatter comes back, even if it's telling you something totally unrelated, go with the thing that's unrelated, because it is coming up in your mind for a reason. But if you could write some of these questions down and ask yourself. So let's say you have an undesirable emotion. Okay, when did you arrive in my life? What age? What was the situation where this all began? Was I at home, at work, at school, somewhere else? And what haven't I learned yet that I need to learn before I can let this go completely? What haven't I learned yet that I need to learn so I can let this go completely? And then whatever information that you get, be thankful for it and put in the work to it. So if it's saying, well, you need to learn to set boundaries, okay, well, until you learn to do that, the thing is still going to be present. So set up a boundary in whatever area of your life that you need it. Or if it's telling you, you need to bring more safety into your life, or you need to, be in an environment where you feel safe. Well, only you can create this. What is it that needs to be let go of? And what is it that new? What is it new that needs to come in its place so that you can replace it with? And just begin by asking yourself these deep and meaningful questions, because they are deep and meaningful, and you can use these questions for every emotional, traumatic turmoil issue that comes up and comes to your mind. So this is what I have for you guys here today. Thank you guys. Missed you so much. I will try to get here on much more regularly. And please check out our spiritual recess. It is down below. It's super awesome, and I think you would probably love it. You get to hop on live with us. I will channel messages that are usually, deep inspirational things that are kind of random and obscure that people need to know. It's just whoever hops on the call, that's, who the messages are for. And it's through Zoom, and there will be activations that come. There's energy work that comes. My friend Alora, does that. She'll be like, hey, I'm feeling some tingling in my hands, and she'll send you some stuff, and you can feel it. I mean, it's pretty amazing what we accomplish, and the community that we are building. It's really nice to see everybody growing as a community, too, that shows up for these circles. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.